Hey everyone, welcome back to the Poplar Report. We're going to jump around Pittsburgh a little bit here. We're going to go to Aldi, go to Walmart, see what's happening at the stores so you can see it for yourselves, see what kind of is missing, what is there. We got some products, especially dairy items that are a bit more in shortage. We just seeing continuing issues along these lines with some of these things. We got some new things kind of popping up, but without further ado, welcome to the Poplar Report. Let's jump right into the pictures. So as we start here at Aldi, first off, the produce section actually looked pretty good. So lettuces and all that kind of stuff like that. The quality is still not quite there, but it looks like the lettuce and a lot of that fresh fruit and vegetables has at least gotten onto the shelves at Aldi's. So that's good news there. Seeing similar things over at Walmart. The quality leaves a lot to be desired when you look at it closer or when you take it home. It spoils very quickly. But we're not seeing major shortages out there. Eggs, $2.57. Anyone else remember when they were $1.57 or $1.40 something just a couple months ago? Anyone out there? Yeah, I do. When it comes to the dairy, we're just seeing different things, especially fake dairy. I don't know why fake dairy is having problems. I mean, are they running out of almonds to squeeze, or I don't know. Anyway, so fake dairy not doing so well and real dairy not doing so well. Maybe it's partly the real dairy not having good time, and so people are kind of switching over when they're being opportunistic to kind of try out almond milk. I've tried almond milk once, and I was like, this doesn't taste like milk. So it doesn't taste like almonds and doesn't taste like milk. So I haven't gone back. I don't know. Other people have to do that and make that sacrifice for reasons. But regular dairy, I don't really like regular dairy either. So anyway, but it's good news for me because there's some shortages out there. There's cottage cheese is gone there. Low-fat cottage cheese is low there, but they got another rack back there in the back there, so maybe not too bad. Cooking sprays, not enough cooking sprays, and even the particularly the olive oil, that stuff's not looking all that great here, and it's not looking great over at Walmart either. Olive oils, of course, had a really bad harvest last year. So we've been having issues because of the European side of things, and they've had some real issues over there themselves. So even corn oil looking kind of low there, and we're going to see in a little bit canned corn. I'm not really sure. America makes a lot of corn, and shoving it in a can is not really that time-consuming of a process or materials consuming. So I'm not sure why we're having issues with canned corn too. Some of the spices not being fully stocked. White rice looks pretty good there, but that's 3-pound bag for $2.65, which is just, I mean, would you want to pay $20 for a 20-pound bag of rice? I wouldn't. That's not really a good way of stocking up, is it? All right, we got some of the pastas kind of missing. We got elbow macaroni because macaroni, of course, like I've always said, is like cockroaches. It's the last thing that will be standing. Like there will be everything gone from the pasta section. There'll still be some elbow macaroni. So that's mostly what we got there. When it comes to broth, we're seeing, continuing to see lots of chicken broth, but very little beef broth. And even here, when we have beef broth, it's mixed in with vegetable broth. If you notice that, whereas the chicken broth's got its own sections. Some of the cheeses, and as you see here, a lot of spaces where the cheeses are. A lot of gaps in the back there too. Just, they did have a big sale on cheese the last week or so, last 2 weeks. So maybe they just cleared out a lot of their inventory, but they didn't have enough to restock their inventory after that. So that's some empty boxes and such. Now we're nitpicking here a little bit with the bottled water, but that pallet did seem a little empty. Before we move on over to Walmart, first I'd like to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. Their phone number is right there on the screen, and feel free to give them a call. And if you have questions about IRAs or prepper bars or whatever, and you just want to get some information, you don't want calls back, you don't want to get on their list or whatever, you can just give them a call, have a chat with them, and see if it might be something that you'd want to move in the direction of. No obligations whatsoever. They do have the prepper bars, silver and gold now. For the United States, I think they're working on getting Canada fixed up. I know some of you up in Canada have been trying to get those, but there'll also be a link at the end of the video if you want them to reach out to you. At Walmart, this situation was actually pretty similar. Most things fairly well stocked. Freezer section, yeah, a little bit, but then you see over here just some pretty big gaps when it came to pizzas. I'm hearing that from a lot of you guys out there too. Frozen pizzas are seeing some kind of hit or miss issues out there where you are. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But right now, I mean, you can get what you want, right? You might not be able to get your size or exactly your brand necessarily. Cocoa seems to be relatively well stocked. We've seen it look worse, but the generic stuff is pretty thin, isn't it? Tea, we've been seeing issues with the Lipton tea, but as you can see there, we got Lipton brown tea on the shelf. Plenty of great value brown tea as well. For you folks down in the South, and I just said great value tea, and you started shuddering and doing an exorcism. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say wrong things about how to make sweet tea. We got the canned fruit. Actually looks like it's recovered a good bit. We had some real issues with that for a while, but canned peaches and canned pineapple are back on the shelf. I'm not seeing too much there, except for the fact that the applesauce is taking up a lot less real estate than it used to. A lot less applesauce. Still seem to be having issues getting that back on the shelves. All right, Maxwell House looking a little thin here, but not terribly. I mean, those filters did not used to be there. Those filters used to be elsewhere. And they were taking up some of the coffee spots with coffee filters. And anyway, peanut butter. We're seeing lots of name brand peanut butter, but seeing kind of thin when it comes to great value peanut butter. Particularly the smooth kind here. I don't know if it's just a one-off. We'll see. If you guys are seeing problems with peanut butter where you are, let me know down in the comments. If you have any comments about comparing what you're seeing compared to what I'm seeing, like you're seeing the exact same thing or you're seeing something completely different, make sure you use the word update in your comment. That way it does get flagged for review. Let's see here. We got salad dressings. Well, first off, take a look at that mayo down there. That mayo down there is not fully stocked there. And we'll keep moving on here. Some of the salsa, a lot of that's fronted, if you notice. There's nothing behind those things. They're all kind of spread out and nothing behind them. White vinegar, low, but apple cider vinegar, surprisingly well stocked. That's kind of reverse what we've seen for the last number of months. Apple cider vinegar has been relatively short, and we've seen a lot of white vinegar. So I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm seeing. No GV 20-pound bags of rice, no GV 5-pound bags of rice. Just a lot less rice selection there. And even where the GV white rice is supposed to go, I see it's 11 something, 50 something. Used to be 10.50 last I checked. So that's another price hike there. Remember back when we were getting it for $8 for a 20-pound sack. Anyway, I remember saying back in those days, hey, you might want to get stocked up now because it's going to get more expensive later. And yeah, now it's, you know what, $3.50 up from where it was. That's not quite 50% increase, but it's getting close. Some of the barbecues a little thin, and ketchup. Meat section. It seems a little interesting that they've moved the, well, first let's look over here at the tuna and then we'll come back to the meat section. Tuna fish, they got some in the back there, so not too bad with the bulk packs. But notice how the Vienna sausages have been moved up and the Spam has been moved down. So Spam has been moved into the prime real estate right there. before they used to hide that Spam up on the top shelf. They were trying to make it so you had to like jump to get up there. So that's interesting that the Spam has been moved down to the prime real estate, and the Vienna sausages have been moved up. Also, corned beef beef has been moved up. So they're trying to get that. They've had the corned beef up for a bit. They don't want to move that too fast. So yeah, they're just kind of subtly nudging you into getting what they want you to get. It's funny how they do that. But apparently they have enough Spam on hand that they want you to get that Spam now, because they can get you to buy that up at those prices and make more money off you. Soy sauce. Soy sauce, some of you guys have been saying soy sauce is getting hard to find. And yeah, soy sauce is hard to find in this. They got all sorts of other sauces, but soy sauce, not so much. Some of the canned vegetables, a little thin, like I said, especially that canned corn. A bunch of gaps in the canned corn section, particularly the generic. Some of the places out there are saying basically, especially in California, generics are flying off the shelves and people are moving over to generics because they just can't afford the name brand stuff. Now, I've never been able to afford the name brand stuff because paying more for that, for the same thing, I don't know. You get a fancier box or something like that. I don't know. I know some brands taste better, but a lot of brands don't really taste that much better. Anyway, that's my opinion there. You just tell me how wrong I am in the comments down below. There's certain brands I definitely do want to get those things up. Anyway, so pasta, a little thin, but you can see in the back row there, people were kind of working their way into the back. That's not fronted. That's just heavy traffic. So it looks like more people have been picking up pasta than usual, and I think that is people rotating to cheaper meals. I mean, you can't get much cheaper than spaghetti. The only way cheaper you can go than that is ramen noodles, and the ramen noodles seem to be well stocked. No panic buying there yet that I can see. Salt a little bit low, spices a little bit low, but they have moved the spices to take up more real estate. But as you can see here, we got some gaps in the olive oils, and as you can see too, a lot of these are a couple or one deep. There's nothing behind them. So as you can see there, we got some fronting going on there with the olive oil. They're having a hard time keeping the olive oil on the shelf. So just be aware of that. If you need olive oil, grab it when you can see it, right? So moving on to orange juices, a little thin there. We've been keeping our eye on the cream cheese recently, partially because we've been having dairy issues, and then also some of the block cream cheeses have been getting a little thin again. But that's not too bad there. There's some in the back. Fake butter, pretty well stocked. Real butter, a little less stocked, but once again, you can see it all pushed to the back. That's because people started picking it up from the front. That is not fronted. That is just heavy traffic. People buying more butter. And I'm not sure any reason why that would be necessarily, but dairy is having a little bit of issues. Maybe they're not restocking that as often, but some of the sour creams, cottage cheeses, similar to what we kind of saw over at Aldi. Just some of the products missing. It's not what you're used to seeing. And this was a Saturday afternoon, so should be pretty well stocked. $2.57, exactly the same price over at Aldi. It's amazing how they just land at the same price. It's amazing. It's almost like collusion, but not, right? Definitely not. Eggs well stocked, heavy cream, half and half. It's got some spots here and there that not looking as great as it should, but by and large, just needs to be straightened up and restocked a little. Some of the milk having some patchy holes here and there, just kind of maybe just some heavy traffic from Labor Day. Some other bins a little empty, but those are on sale, so that's why they're theirs to be moved. The unhealthy vegetable oils seem to be pretty well stocked. Canola, vegetable oil, Even the corn oil looks pretty good here. So that's kind of what we're seeing out here. If you guys have updates out there, let us know what you're seeing. We got some Crisco's a little bit light there, but maybe people getting their candles ready for a long dark winter. But I crunched the numbers not too long ago. But basically, if you get these GV shortenings, which are basically the same thing as the Crisco, if you're making a candle, that it is cheaper than getting wax out there. So you can take that and make sure you just have a decent wick and put it into a jar. Don't just tear off the lid and light it up inside that container. Don't do that, okay? That's not a good idea. One, because the foil wrapping around the outside is cardboard and it will catch fire. Two, it will melt and start leaking all over the place. And three, you're going to have a harder time putting it out, right? So just make sure you scoop that into a jar or some other thing before you light it up. Just one little tip out there. I can't say enough good stuff about, this is over at Sam's Club. These nacho cheese cans and these cheddar cheese sauce cans, it's cheap. $9.98 for a giant number 10 can. Now, once you crack that boy open, you're gonna be eating cheese for a little bit, right? This is good if you have family, if you have more people that are gonna be staying with you. Just make sure you have some macaroni. If you have some macaroni, boil up the macaroni and then just pour this sauce all over it, stir it up, and then pop it in the oven, and boom, you got some really great tasting mac and cheese that's really gonna lift people's spirits. If you can throw some shredded cheese on top, that's even better. But these cans are great for that. Nacho cheese sauce will make it a little spicier, but definitely having some of those cans is a great prep to have because it will really lift up a lot of people's spirits. And if you mix it in with the rice, if you mix it in with all the other stuff, it'll taste great for a whole bunch of things while you eat your way through the can over 1 or 2 days or something like that. Just have a cheese fest and everyone will be a lot happier. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right there up on the screen. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there on the screen. You can tap on it, fill out the form, and they'll get in contact with you. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.